Greetings, everyone. This is the Gardening Snail of Livingston, California. If you're interested in what's happening at City Hall, among other things, or just want to keep track of what our local politicians are up to, welcome to the channel. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you're notified when future videos are uploaded. This video is the City Manager's report from the November 5th, 2019 City Council meeting. I've taken the liberty of editing out the impromptu presentation about forming a Census Committee. I want to save that for its own video. In this video clip, we see the City Manager address the following: the possibility of F&M Bank opening a branch in the Liberty Plaza, the hiring of a new finance director, the official mural dedication, a downtown development plan document. I'll leave a link in the description below in case you would like to see a copy. The next Utility Rate Stakeholders Committee meeting to be held on November 14th, the proposed 35-acre mixed-use project on B Street, how he had asked all departments to reduce their spending 10% for budgetary reasons and wanted to address some rumors floating around, and that what's taking place has nothing to do with travel budgets, and the Christmas tree program and those budget discussions.
Legal, any updates? Okay, nothing from legal. Mr. Ramirez.
Yes, Honorable Mayor, Council, there's a few items that I just want to piggyback real quick on our interim finance director as it relates to F&M Bank. I've been in communication with the Liberty Plaza owner and the agent, and they're actually working right now and trying to help facilitate the acquisition of that. I guess back in the day, it used to be a bank. Mayor,
Yes, it was.
was not aware of that. I just remember the Hollywood video and then the church. But anyways, that facility is being looked at. That would actually be, I'm really encouraging that specific space because they were really live in that area, create a lot of foot traffic for a lot of the businesses, and I think a lot of the other spaces that are vacant in that area will not be vacant. So that's kind of what's going on there. The other thing too that I wanted to share is that by the next council meeting, finally after 3 different recruitments, we've been able to find, was recommended a specific finance director. Apparently she's from the city of, or she works in the city of Manteca, and so there'll be a contract coming before council at the next council meeting. Her name is Vanessa. What's her last name, Brett? Portillo. Okay, got it. Got it. Portillo. This is the last name. So anyways, so that's what's going on there. Also, just keep in mind, we're going to be, in the next few days, we're going to be letting everybody know when we're going to have our official mural dedication. They finally put in several layers of UV protection and then graffiti protection out there. So we want to make this is a big, huge thing, and we want to make sure we invite the community. And I also wanted to thank the Aguilar family for donating the bronze plaque that's going to be put out there with the recognitions and so forth. So stay tuned for that. Now, I just wanted to just reiterate, how important this document, that is still a living, breathing document that we've been, when the community got together several years ago and outlined how they wanted to see Livingston, grow and also put in some aesthetics and improve our downtown. Those piano keys, that was all, and the roundabout, all these different things are all tied even. And then there's an item on tonight's agenda, which is part of the SB2 planning housing funds, which Mr. Segal is going to talk about. That area along B Street, that was all talked about in here, and so we're just following the plan. So thank you for all those of you who participated in that in the establishment of that document. Yeah, and then also another item that I wanted to share with everyone, the utility stakeholder, the next meeting is going to be next week, Thursday, at 6 o'clock. And as part of that, as you know, the utility stakeholder has been working really diligently with our rate consultant. So the rate consultant is going to be presenting on the 14th. My hope is that the final, whatever the final numbers are going to look like. And then from that point forward, then it's going to come to council. Council then would have to give direction and adopt and start the 45-day period, which is part of the Prop 218 process. And so the goal is to implement whatever the new rates are going to be late January, early February is basically what it's going to look like. In addition to that, I have one more item. Actually, we've been working with this item that's on the agenda, the SB2 grant funding. We're also looking at other funding because as you might recall, at the last couple of meetings, we've been talking about the 35 acres along B Street and the multifamily housing projects, and the fact that Visionary Housing has actually gone into contract for about 5 acres or so over there for some multifamily. Well, we're looking at, we actually got a notice of funding availability notice today, and there's some home funds, and the NOFA's out for home funds, and so we're going to look at going after some of these funds and partnering up with Visionary Housing and other partners to have access to some of this money so that we can, develop some much-needed housing out in that neck of the woods. And then lastly, I wanted to talk about our just fiscally. We would like to be fiscally responsible and prudent. And so the budget's something that's a living, breathing, document all the time. And so we're always constantly looking at economic indicators, revenues and expenses. And so I've had to ask staff, this year to look at their budgets, and I asked for a 10% reduction across the board. So we've been having a lot of different meetings, and as part of that, there's decision-making that is taking place. And I wanted to kind of, I know there's some rumors that are out there floating around, so I wanted to make sure that I shared that what's taking place has nothing to do with travel budgets. Okay, that's, the travel budget that was approved during our budget process, that's the budgetary amount, and every category has their budgetary amounts that was approved. And then also, keep in mind that the fiscal year starts July 1st of every year. So I know that some folks look at last year's fiscal budget and then they look at this fiscal year budget and then they try to combine both, but in reality they're separate. So just FYI for that. And then also in relation to, there were some comments that were made about the tree program, and that's one of the Christmas tree program, and that's one of the programs that that I was talking about, where we as staff, we sit down and first of all, the first line is department heads. They come up with recommendations. They talk to our finance director, and then at the end of the day, then they come to me and we make other changes. And so we're not picking anybody. We're just trying to be fiscally prudent and always looking at the numbers coming in and going out. And so I just wanted to share that. So thank you very much.
What do you think? What do you think about the possibility of a new bank in the downtown, or all the other city plans for the future of downtown? Were you satisfied with the city manager's explanation that any budget cuts had nothing to do with travel expenses? Do you think the city council itself plans to cut back on travel since all the other departments have been asked to make cuts? Or do you think the city council will double down on its need to travel because there is so much to learn out there? I noticed that in this excerpt from the city budget that not only does it not include actual spending on travel for fiscal year 2019, it also does not include a 10% reduction for fiscal year 2020. But what do I know? I just go by the documents I get from the city. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. In my next video, I plan on posting the County Supervisor's Report, which includes a discussion about how the county wants a big chunk of Livingston citywide sales tax in exchange for a tax sharing agreement. If you're not subscribed already, please do, and hit the bell icon so you're notified when that video uploads. I am including a link to my live stream of the last Utility Rates Stakeholders Committee meeting in the video description below this video. I am also including a link to the downtown planning document the city manager mentioned and the contact information for the city manager and city council members.